coming up on my devices? It doesn't seem to be. Oh, yeah, here we go. Right. Give me a second. I just need to sort a couple of things out. And I will be with you. So, oh, bear with me. Right, good. We are good to go. I hope everybody's good this evening and they've had a good weekend so far. What are we doing tonight? Probably just a little bit more too. And I'm also going to make a start on the Hera, Daughter of Helm miniature that I've got, and this is for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I'm part of. What I'm actually going to do is, where is Corax White? I just want to give Corax, I just want to give the horse another base coat, because I can't decide whether or not the base coat I gave it last time has base coated, or if it's not showing fully opaque. But it's a lovely miniature, this horse, and Hera, and I like that GW are producing these as sets now. Whereas I know when they first came out, you'd probably buy them separately, which was a real pain in the backside. So, yeah, she's got a lovely grey horse in the War for the Rohirrim film. I forget what it's called. Somebody remind me. But this is going to be, once she's painted, will be my miniature for my, well, my second character for my D&D campaign that I'm part of. And Genesi, who's a ranger. So, right, that'll do. Let's leave that to dry. Hope everybody's well, as I said, and that you've had a good weekend. Anybody do anything interesting? I have to admit, I spent all day in yesterday, and yeah, haven't been out today because the weather here is absolutely rot at the moment. I'm not going to lie, it is disgusting. So I'm just replying to a message. Right, so we're back on Belial and the lion. I'm going to start off with Belial, and I'm going to give his bolter and sling a quick non-oil base coat. I'm going to come in with a STC base medium to do this, just because it's going to give me a little bit more control than the wash brush would do. So I've started recording the combat patrol videos for the Astra Militarum portion of the collection. We got a Acadian Command Squad and a full 10-man section in my last delivery. My next delivery is due on the 13th of Feb. So all being well, that will include the majority of the Astra Militarum units. I think we've got another 10-man squad coming, and we've got the weapons teams, the heavy weapons team. Not the heavy weapons teams, the cannons or whatever they are, I think, coming in some of the next issues, and at some point the Walker as well, the Sentinel Walker, which I'm looking forward to actually getting. Now, having started recording the magazine review for the Command Squad, it looks like we are painting, the way that they're going to paint the uniforms is you paint them Wraithbone and then give them a wash of Agrax Earthshade in the magazine paint instructions, paint guide. I won't be doing that. I'm going to try and replicate for the fatigues, for the combat trousers and the combat jackets, MTP, multi-terrain pattern, is what I'm going to try and do as the camouflage uniform of choice for my particular Astra Militarum. I do have a couple of miniatures that I can practice on, and hopefully they'll give me the results that I'm looking for. I'm just tidying up bits of the base for the lion. I overpainted some grey onto the back of the head here of the Dark Angels icon. So that all just needs cleaning up. For those that are scale modelers, I did get my Airfix Club membership pack this week. And yeah, it was, I don't know how I feel about it, because we've got a vintage classic kit in it, which is the Saab Viggen, and then a more modern tooling for the Tiger Moth biplane. Hopefully I'll get that video out this week and you guys can have a look at it and let me know whether you think it was worth it or not. But we're waiting to see. Also got a range ruler, which was a free 3D STL file from Custom Miniature Mondays, My Mini Factory, I think. If you subscribe, they send you a free file each week, and some of them have been really good. So I've got these range rulers that I've printed out for people, and some of the other things that I've got from them have been useful in regards to just either scatter terrain or scenery. So scatter terrain wise, I've picked up things like street lamps, street furniture, some tar pits. I've actually got to download that tonight. When I finish talking to you guys at 8 o'clock, I need to just quickly jump online and get that downloaded. And a skull, there was I think it was a skull, and the eyes and the mouth socket were paintbrush holders, which was really good. So let's get some brown on the wet palette. Got Oblivion on mute in the background at the moment. Right, let's just have a look at the saddle here. So I think now, I don't know if I'm going to keep the straps this mid-brown colour. And the same with the leather bags, etc. Or whether I give it a black wash and maybe darken it down a touch. Problem is, with this kind of saddlebags being obviously a brown colour on a grey horse, if I make a mistake and overbrush somewhere, it's not going to be forgiving at all. So going to have to be super careful in this step. Oh, I'm actually, I don't know whether I'm lucky or whether 3 Mobile have sorted out the problem, but this week I have had a horrendous time with free mobile and internet access. So I have a SIM only contract for all I can eat data, unlimited data, and I'm not gonna lie, this week has been horrendous, with outages, meaning I've not been able to get online. It's one of the reasons why I've not posted a video at all this week, because I haven't been able to guarantee that I could get online long enough and stay online long enough to upload a video. To that end, I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to upload a video overnight tonight, and it'll be there first thing in the morning, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the whole week there's been outages in my ability to actually log on and log on to the internet and upload, download, watch videos, like just get onto any apps. Just been completely non-existent. I rang 3 Mobile, and their customer service assistants were absolutely pointless. Their tech service assistants, I should say, actually, have been absolutely pointless, because they haven't been able to tell me what the problem is, other than they claim it's too many people logging on in the same area at the same time. Now, I may be being a bit of an arsehole about it, but if this is the network which claims, if this is the company that claims that life needs a big network, then I'm sorry, you should be capable of making sure that all your customers have access to the internet, regardless of how many are online at any one time. So yeah, I've not been impressed. I did write them a letter that I posted yesterday. Oh, I did go out yesterday. Yeah. I did write them a letter that I've posted detailing that I am not impressed. We'll wait and see what they say, if they bother replying. I'm not expecting a reply, because for some reason a lot of companies don't feel these days that their customers are worth a reply, but it needed to be put in writing. So anybody watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms this week? And Sir Dunk has got his 6 other compatriots to take part in the trial of the 7. And then I'm not going to lie, it did give me chills having the Game of Thrones title soundtrack start cutting in at the end of the episode, just as they were getting ready to joust. I can't wait for next week's episode to see how the trial turns out. Hopefully it will be a good action-packed episode. It looks like there's going to be some flashback fleshing out Dunk's backstory as well in this. If anybody else watches it, put it in the comments. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I do roughly know how it turns out, having seen a review of the original book by George R.R. Martin, who is actually a nice guy. I have met him. He's quite short. I used to work at Forbidden Planet in London, and he came to do a signing. And he then wanted to have a walk around the shop, and I was asked to just walk around with him to make sure he wasn't constantly accosted by fans. But yeah, he's a nice guy. As I say, he's quite short. When he's going to get round to finishing The Winds of Winter for the original Game of Thrones series is anybody's guess. But him and his wife were there, and yeah, they were quite nice. It's a bit sad that Game of Thrones ended the way it did. I was not impressed when I saw season 8, was it? And what were they thinking, doing the Battle of Winterfell in such a dark tone? Not as in dark psychologically, but dark as in physically, with very minimal lighting. It was really difficult to follow what was going on, and I don't know if that was some sort of choice that they went with in order to perhaps try and convey some of the confusion that a battle at night brings. And it is difficult, even in modern times, to do a full attack at night. But yeah, just bad filmography. I think there was a lot of other people which kind of felt the same way. I haven't caught up with this week's Starfleet Academy yet, but I have caught up with Fallout, and that was great. Loved that. I really do want to know, is it Thaddeus? The guy that lost his arm last week? I really want to know what he's turning into. And I really want to see where Lucy and Maximus end up. Not as in relationship wise, but what they end up doing in the series. Right, let's just get the base done. Now, for those that know or have seen my bases previously, I always base coat, or predominantly base coat, my earth tones with Mornfang Brown. And then dry brush a sand and then wraithbone over the top. Okay, that'll do for now. Right then, let's get the lion, because I'm going to start just going over some of his black armor panels with Dark Angel's green contrast. So, yeah, bugger. That wasn't meant to happen. Don't you just hate it when that happens? Do. Right. Let's do that. Let's just close it up again. Dark Angel's green was my favourite green colour for my Dark Angels previously. And I was absolutely gutted when they changed it to Caliban green. But seeing that they've brought the contrast paint back, right, let's put those over there. Now that they've brought the contrast paint back, I do use it for some little things. Not much, but it does get used for some various bits and pieces. Right, let's just clean the brush out. Okay, so with the armor panels, what I'm doing is using the Caliban green to just kind of work in down the sides and into recesses. And then what I'll do is I will just come in with a slight highlight to just bring some green kind of highlights into the armor. Now I know that I think in the original GW video they went on with Sons of Horus green, but I much prefer the Dark Angels contrast paint, the Dark Angels green contrast paint for this particular method that I'm doing. And over the black, just a single coat will kind of give it a green tint, but it won't be massively obvious that it's green armor. I'll probably do is give the armor panels a highlight with either Incubi Darkness or the Caliban Green. And then we've got the backpack as well to do. I think Valrak's getting, Chapter Master Valrak is getting really excited for the potential of Puerto Rabo coming back into the setting. So we'll have to wait and see if that materializes. It would be nice if we could have another Loyalist Primarch back before a Traitor one, just to even things out. I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts on who they'd like to see come back. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a Loyalist Primarch come back, whether that be Leman Russ, Vulcan, or perhaps Corvus Corax, is it? Or I don't know whether it's a long shot, but maybe Dawn, Rogel Dawn, to come back at some point. Right, what do I need to do for Belial? Don't know. I'm going to use some Incubi Darkness just to make a start on the cloaks for Hera. And I kind of envisage her having a green cloak as part of the Rohirrim. And this is a really nice green, this Incubi Darkness. I'd forgotten how nice it actually was. So the idea with Hera is to paint her as my D&D character, which is an Air Genesi Ranger. But leave her clothes in the same style as the Hera miniature, so that if at a later stage this character dies and I choose not to run her again in a different campaign, then I can just paint the hair and the skin back to sort of like a normal flesh tone and hair colour, and put her into Games of Lord of the Rings. So that's that cloak done. Give me a moment. Oh. Oh. Sorry, I had to turn something off. Actually, back again. Oh. Oh, sorry about that. To get that sorted out. Right. Let's get back to painting her horseback character. I don't intend to do two different colours for the cloak, so they are literally just going to be green inside and out for Hera. Okay. That's the start for both of those. back in for the straps and saddle. Heard they, I think it's the Side Trek podcast, that a new season of Stargate is currently in development. And what I would love them to do is to tie in with Stargate Universe, because I want to know if Eli survived. I don't care about anything else. I want to know if Eli survived. Do you know, I really don't know why Games Workshop don't produce more miniatures like this for their fantasy Lord of the Rings, because they could quite easily be proxied over to Dungeons and Dragons as various classes. You know, just and this is, I love the fact that this horse has saddlebags and a blanket on the back of the saddle there. Kind of disappointing that the Rohirrim horses didn't have that in sort of like the main set. Right, there's no real strap visible on the underneath going under the horse's neck here, so I'm just going to have to put one in as best as. So I wonder what sort of bit that they would be using. I'm assuming that there'd be a lot of neck reining going on for people that are fighting from horseback. My own horse, when I had him, Murphy, he came to me with a pelham, which is quite a hard bit for controlling a horse, but I found that if you soften the contact, he was actually really good. and didn't need it, but I could neck rein him without any issues. Another word for that would be Western style. But it's literally just, you know, you've got the reins in your hand and you just literally do that so that the pressure of the reins on the horse's neck gets them to move where you want them to. Whereas quite often you're using the legs as well as just slight pressure on the reins in English style. Just tidying up a few bits on Belial here. Let's have a look at the lion. And yeah, I think we can come in and just add another layer of Dark Angel's green over the bits that we did. Doing that. I am going to shamelessly plug again my charity cycle ride that I'm doing in support of the British Heart Foundation in July. The London to Brighton, starting off at Clapham Common in London and cycling the 54 miles to Brighton. I will put a link to my fundraiser in the description, and if you are so inclined, it would be really nice if you made a small donation. It doesn't have to be a lot, it can just be a couple of quid. But if everybody that's a member of my or subscribed to my channel did that, then, you know, there's over 900 people subscribed to my channel. At £2 each, that would be a phenomenal, or even just £1, you know, it'd still be a phenomenal amount of money. And if you want to, you can leave it anonymously. But if you are a viewer of the channel, then, you know, say so and I'll call your name out if you want me to, as a thank you. Let people know that you've donated if that's what you would like. Just say thank you live in my live streams. So, right, that's a little bit more down for the green. I will start producing some videos of my training and they will go up on my other channel. Right, that's that. we've got his helm here. I don't know if I'm going to go with this one or just the cowled head. These were the two head choices that I went with. I've got the helmet with the winged plumes, or just the cowled head. I quite like the cowled head, but I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to go with. We'll wait and see. Which one would you like to see? I don't know if I'm erring more towards the helm rather than the cowl for his robes. Or what? I have got a run scheduled for later tonight as part of my training plan in the run up to this. Once I've done the London to Brighton, I've then decided to I'm hopefully going to be able to sign up for it in March, which is when the registration opens, I believe, for a 32-mile day hike on the Southwest Coastal Path from Weymouth to Swanage. So I will potentially be raising money for charity on that one, depending on what the conditions are. But I've decided that I need to try and be more active than what I have been, for my own mental health as well as physical health. And all being well, we'll get back to a point where things have improved. But I miss being out in nature. I used to do a lot of hiking and camping. I did Lansdowne and John O'Groats in '97. I did attempt it 2 years ago, but I had a knee injury that stopped me about 2 weeks in Scotland. And it took me 10 months or more. Actually, no. Yeah, 10 months. I ended up having to have a steroid injection in my knee in order to get over the knee injury itself. And I have been going to the gym. I'm not as fit as I should be, but I have been going to the gym predominantly to keep the knee joint strengthened in order to protect it whilst I'm doing other exercises. And that's worked. The people at the physio were impressed and happy that, you know, I was pressing a considerable amount, pressing and doing a leg extension at a considerable amount of weight on both legs, and it was evenly, you know, I think there was like 10 pounds in it between each leg, so there was slightly less. I was lifting slightly less on my injured leg than I was the non-injured one, but they were impressed that the injury hadn't stopped me from reaching that level, so the disparity between the legs wasn't too bad, and they were quite happy with it. I don't know what I'm going to do, because Belial has obviously flames on his base, and I honestly don't. I mean, with the skeleton, I will probably do those as flames, but we've got these little wispy bits around here, and to be quite honest, I might just paint them as grass. rather than flames. I'll do some flames around the icon, the skeleton icon here, because he's on a pole, but for the bit around his feet, I'm just going to leave it as blades of grass, I think. But that's Belial's base. I succumbed and purchased the paint set, the Leviathan paint set, just so that I could get these 3 Marines, because with the combat patrol you got another set of Infernus Marines, half a squad, okay, and then they gave you this miniature, which was the sergeant for the collection, the exclusive sergeant, which brought the squad up to 6. I blagged one of the free minis that you can get from the Games Workshop stores, which brought it up to 7, which meant I only needed 3, and I sadly popped out and got the paint set so that it had the 3 Marines, 3 Infernus Marines, so that I could just bring this whole squad up to 7. The only thing I will say about the squad in the paint set is this, that they come with Ultramarines iconography and standard Codex Astartes symbols on for Devastator squads for heavy support. But yeah, I bought those, so these need painting up at some point. I need to finish these on video, painting challenge, to get the combat patrol painted. And yeah, hopefully I'll get a video uploaded tonight, overnight. It will probably be a magazine flick through that I'm catching up on, and all being well, I will see you again next week for just a hangout and a chill and a relax. And you know, if anybody wants to leave a message, to chat in the chat box. Right, have a good evening, lovely people, and I will see you again soon. All right, take care. Bye bye.